Well, welcome everyone. This is the Dare to Be Great, Dare to Be You podcast. My name is Sean Langwell and I'm your host. And we've got a very wonderful treat here. A gentleman by the name of John Wallace is going to talk to us about whatever comes up. And I'm going to let him do that. I'm not going to steal any thunder. But if this is the first time to the show and you don't know what the heck it's about, the whole purpose of this show is really to have conversations with real people, raw, real, unfettered. So basically, if you like honest, vulnerable, and bold, true stories about what it takes to not only become great, but self-confident and brave enough to be yourself, then this show is for you. See, each of my guests started out as ordinary people just like you and me. They didn't weren't spoon-fed, they didn't have silver spoons. Some may have a silver spoon, but it doesn't matter. And they've done extraordinary things to be considered great. And it doesn't mean about money, it can be anything. And we're going to get into some of this from John's story. And I'm not going to beleaguer the point, but I do want to extend the invitation. If you have something worthwhile to share and you want to get it off your chest, reach out to me. Find me at seanlangwell.com. Enough about me, and let's talk about John. My guest, John Wallace, is the founder and CEO of Surviving the Odds Project. He founded this. It's a nonprofit with a real tangible cause. John grew up in Marin City and found refuge in the arts as an escape from a troubled home life. Street life and drug use caught up to him, landing John in Marin County Jail numerous times and eventually to San Quentin Prison for several years. Refusing to give up, John worked hard and earned his GED while in prison. John wrote over 75 songs about his life experience while in prison. And after he was released, this is where the magic happens. After he was released, John went on to attend classes at College of Marin, Santa Rosa Junior College, and Butte College. He is currently a recognized musician, tattoo artist, and hairstylist who often provides his services at low or no cost to those in need. John believes in the importance of giving back and understands the therapeutic value of art and music. And that's what we're going to talk about most because John shared some stuff with me that he's doing with underserved and discarded youth, to use a term I don't know if it's legitimate or not. But I want you to talk about what you're actually doing as a man who was incarcerated and how you're paying it forward to these other kids to keep them out of prison, jail, the law, and build a life for them that they actually have the self-esteem. Because, John, that's what this show is all about. Take it away.
Hey, thank you so much, Sean, for the introduction. Thank you for giving me a space to be, creative and let the world in on the work that I'm doing, and also, bring to light the things that are going on in my community with these kids. So yeah, I'll just dive right in. I served 8 years in San Quentin State Prison. My mom was severely beat by a cop. About 21 years ago down in Marin County. And, I was right there when it happened. I ended up in jail that night. And it was a shock to me, my family, um, and my mom. She was hit in the forehead with the nightstick with the billy club. They used to call it back then, the wooden billy club, by the officer. And she fell backwards and hit her head on the concrete, busted her skull open, and she didn't wake up for 6 months. I was going back and forth to the hospital at Marin General Hospital for about 6 months, me and my family. That was like I would say there was so much pain in my heart. And for my mom, just watching her on this bed, complete vegetable. And uh the whole time I was thinking in my mind like what I wanted to do to this cop. And it was just like, I had so much rage and so much pain. And then, a miraculous thing happened. I was A friend of mine had killed himself in Marin City, one of my best friends. He shot himself. And then I was in the field already, drinking alcohol, using drugs, and I didn't know that I had the support around me. But the Marin County Sheriff's Department came to me and uh, pulled me out of my car. I guess I had my car started and I was sitting there and hunched over the wheel. They busted my windows out to get me out, took me to the hospital, pumped my stomach. And, these things are just like, things that when I came to, I realized like, damn, I was a sick person. You know, I,
Mm-hmm.
I I was trying to numb out what was going on and numb out what I was feeling, and it all came back to that one situation, watching my mom get hit. And when I found myself in San Quentin State Prison years later, I was wondering how I got there, you know, and that pain of walking into a state prison so young, it was like, here I am in my 20s in prison. Um, had already left high school, didn't want to be around people too much. I was a football star, a track star, all that. And all these dreams, that people would want. I had letters to different colleges and stuff for football and as a sophomore. And I chose that route, which was get involved in a gang. After all this stuff happened with my mom, I chose to hang out with the wrong crowds, use drugs, and try to cope. And I wasn't talking to people. And in that cell at San Quentin, I felt safe. I wasn't bullied. And I tell people this all the time, and the people are like, "What are you talking about? You felt safe." Well, for one, I wasn't being bullied. For
Hmm.
two, no one could hurt me in that cell. And for three, I was alone with my thoughts, and I was able to tap into another piece of myself that I never even knew before.
Yeah.
And that's where it all started. I started
Let,
writing
let,
songs in
let,
there.
let me interrupt there because that's something that on the surface you have firsthand experience, and I want to just drill a little bit deeper there because this
Mhm,
is a rare opportunity for you and I to have this conversation and share with some people who are either behind bars in prison or who are on the outside looking in because there's a disconnect of what people's perceptions are.
mhm.
So walk through just a short little bit of what that deeper dive was for you and what transpired out of it. I know the music, the 75 songs, but there's a deeper level that you and I haven't had a conversation yet. So what did that look like, John? And how did it kind of manifest itself and what came out of it?
It was scary, honestly. When you walk in, it says no warning shots fired in this unit, and I was like, whoa, that's a
Oh,
I was like, that's an eye opener, and then I was like, I'm not promised to come home when it says that, no warning shots fired in this unit, and I'm like, damn, we have guns in here, but I'll tell you what, the biggest part about being there was that I found myself and I found an opportunity to be able to come out and help my community. I wasn't a selfish person and I just wanted people to hear me. And even before I went to prison, I'll tell you this: the judge, when he sentenced me, um, I said, "You just saved the lives of so many other people, and you saved my life." And I said, when I get out, I'm going to show you some things in the community that I'm doing to help people. And I lived up to my word. There's been probably about 20 front page articles, magazine articles. I've been invited to various shows. Oh my God, it's just been crazy. I've been on the national news, CBS News, um, national news. And also, I'm the only musician in the world who's ever put a music studio, professional recording studio on a high school campus. And that all came with just, the help of God, me just not being selfish and wanting to give back to kids and not have a kid suffer from the pain that I suffered
hmm.
and the abuse that I endured.
Yeah. So when you were in there, I mean, this wasn't for some people, it's kind of a burning bush moment without getting religious or doing that. But there's experiences where we dive deep, and sometimes it's those gifts of desperation, which I've heard said that you're there and you don't really you have nothing else except to be with yourself and your own thoughts. So um, what did that look like and where did the epiphanies come? I mean, did you start to meditate? I'm asking this because some people think about this, they read a lot about it. I call it woo-woo voodoo bullshit if you want to know the honest God's truth until you actually roll up your sleeves and experience it. That's exactly what it is. So,
Here, Here's the thing. When I was there, I got on a phone call and I was talking to my ex-wife at the time. I have three beautiful children with her. I was married for 12 years. I got married in prison.
oh
Um,
wow.
and yeah, and bless her soul. But when I was in there in West Block, there was a little part in my window where I could look out over the bay and I could see Corte Madera. And I was like, you know what? I said, hey, one night I just had a feeling that she was out there. And something told me to look out, at like 12 o'clock midnight and just look out my cell window. And I see this these lights flickering like a Morse code, like, and it was like 1, 2, 3, I love you, basically, right? And I get on the phone the next day and I said, "Hey, was that you out there flicking your lights?" And she said, "You could see me?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so that was our way of connecting every night before I went to bed in my cell. She was with my kids in the car and they were sending messages and I could actually figure out what they were talking about in the car with the headlights flickering. And that was an eye-opening experience for me. I never wanted to feel that pain again. And then they would tell me these stories about what they were feeling in the car that night. And like, they would see my lights. I would tell them where I was at in the building, and they would look for my cell light flickering the same way. So
Mm.
I would flicker my cell light the same way, 1, 2, 3, and they would see that with the binoculars from across the water, and
This is incredible,
yeah,
John.
yeah, yeah. And so that was like an eye-opening experience for me. And I was like, damn, I don't want my kids to ever feel this again, where they can't be able to touch me physically. My kids had to see me through a window at first, like, through a window. They had to and finally I got conjugal visits. I was moved to 5 different prisons in those years.
Hmm.
So it was just like, for me, it was just being moved around, and my kids were there and family was there, but I felt alone, and that's where the music came, and I started writing songs, and I didn't know I had a voice. I didn't know that it would be the opening to a music career. Here I am, 21 songs, 21 albums in, you know.
So you never, I mean, you're an athlete in high school. So did you never study music? I'm sure you probably listen to music, but you never formally study music at all?
Listened to it, never studied it. I can play piano by ear. I can't read sheet music, but I
Okay.
can play the hell out of a piano. I can play the drums. I can make my own beats. I didn't go to school for anything music wise, and I'm self-taught on everything. Self-taught on everything.
So,
Self-taught releasing my music to the world. I'm a music producer. I'm a sound engineer. All that stuff. I'm self-taught on everything.
so this is, I'm going to go a little segue, not about me, but just the relatability. And for anybody who's listening to this, please, please, please ask more questions, get to know people, especially people who don't look like you, talk like you, act like you, have a life like you, because this is where the magic of this wonderful world we call life happens. I've known this man for a little while back and forth, and we exchanged stuff on Facebook. But when I met him in person, I knew the heart that this man has. And I didn't know any of this backstory. So I'm hearing a bunch of this backstory for the very first time. But no matter what it is inside you, let that stuff out because the world needs to hear your voice. End of PSA. Back to you.
So let me tell you a little bit about how I started healing through this journey after that happened to my mom. This officer was at the Marin County Fair. He couldn't work the streets anymore. They wouldn't allow him to work the streets. He could only work in the jails. He had a 100-yard restraining order that he couldn't come near me and my family. And I was with my family at the fair one day down in Marin, and this officer walked up to me out of nowhere, and I froze. Uh,
Hmm.
I just froze in fear. I don't know what it was, but I just froze. And I looked at this man. He looked at me, and then he said, "I'm sorry for what happened to your mom." And I don't know how the words came out of my mouth, but when I said, "I forgive you," everything changed. Um, and Man, I'm getting emotional right now because that moment just like um, hit me so hard. It was like a pivoting moment in my life, and it shifted everything. Because here you go from pain to wanting to harm someone to forgiving them, all in one motion. And it just happened so quickly to where God was like, I say God because, it's like there's God in all of us. And in that moment, there was God in this man to touch my heart. And it did, it happened. And from that moment, everything started happening on the up in my life when I forgave that man. And he's a really close friend of mine today.
Hmm.
And I hold him dear to my heart. It was a mistake that he made. We all make mistakes. It was a mistake, and All the things that I have done in life, I channeled it to that moment. Like, you've done so much cruel things to the world and to people around you. How dare you harm this man with what you've been feeling all these years and not forgive him when the
Yeah.
world has forgiven you?
Yeah.
When and it just it hit me, and I said love and tolerance. I got into recovery when I got out, and it said love and tolerance is our code. And I had to love on that man. I had to love him. And today, I mean, I tell you, the relationship that I have with him is like, wow, everyone's just like in awe of it.
So let's not overlook that, John, because so this gentleman who actually was the attacker of your mom in the moment, and you have a chance meeting, and now he's your friend.
Mhm.
Now he's your friend, one of your best friends. So that is, ladies and gentlemen, people everywhere, no matter how you identify, that is the root of healing, whether it's in recovery, whether it's in crime, whether it's in anything. The root cause is usually some deep-seated fear or anger or resentment, and we act out in crazy ways. And when you get to this place that John just explained about forgiveness and love and tolerance of other people, it's not rocket science. All of the conflicts that we have from coast to coast and worldwide are fundamentally, the solution is those two words. It's love and forgiveness. And you're a living example of that. I'm blown away that we're even having this conversation. This is why I started this show, because I don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't know where it's going to go. And that's what makes it so exciting. Wow. So what do you guys do? Do you hang out? You go shoot the breeze? Do you play basketball? What do you do?
We talk every now and then. We run
Huh?
into each other at various events. There's events that the department puts on for them. There's a lot of events that I go to for the nonprofit, and for being a face in the community, being a professional in the community. I have to remember that, hey, you're under a microscope.
Hmm.
Whatever you do is a reflection of your business. It's a reflection of how you show up in this world. And I have to remember, I can't hang out with those old crowds I used to. I have to remember, like, dude, this isn't about that anymore. This is about saving lives. And you are on the road to saving lives. You're in these schools, where I put that studio 5 years ago on the campus. When I built it, they were like, hey, we don't have a music producer to run this studio for the kids. And, I volunteer my time to go down there and work with these kids.
So, that's the other thing. We're going to use this as a little segue here because I realize I go off rabbit trails, but I don't care. It's my show. I could do that. But the self-taught aspect, you're talking about, you didn't know anything about music, and now you're a music producer, you're an engineer, you're also a de facto counselor and encourager of youth. And let's talk a little bit about that. Where I was originally going to go is we have that in common because I worked at Mix Magazine for almost 10 years, an electronic musician, and I got to get immersed into that professional music production, recording, and engineering scene. It was my job to go talk to these people, and it's just phenomenal. It's creating magic out of nothing, an idea, a heart, and a few lyrics, and then you put the whole orchestra together of whatever that is. But talk about what the important part is how you're doing this as a platform to bring students together to keep them out of gangs or streets or drugs and just to give them a sense of belonging, I guess, for lack of a better term. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. It's a hard thing to talk about, but I do it because I show up because these kids are killing each other's in school all day, every day. Every time you turn on the news, there's another mass shooting at a school. Um, and part of it comes where these kids aren't talking about stuff that's going on at their home. They're not talking about the fact that they have a mom or a dad that's locked up in prison or
Hmm.
jail, or they're not talking about the fact that they don't have food in their mouths when they go home. So I've designed a program to meet their direct needs, their immediate
Right.
needs. We feed them when they come. We have healthy meals delivered to them. We cater to their needs. If they need transportation to our program, we have the transportation for them. And we also create, a confidential uh, space for them to heal. whatever's going on. And when we start these classes, I say, I'm going to tell you something about myself that no one knows, in hopes that it stays right here in this room.
Hmm.
And I get a buy-in and everyone raises their hand. And so I tell them something about myself that no one knows. And I trust the process with them. And these kids start opening up about things that they've never told anyone. And I'm just like sitting back like a fly on the wall, like listening to this, like, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so much pain in this room. And so I become like this lived experience teacher and therapist. It's like a sneaky therapeutic environment for the kids to just open up and not be afraid to tell someone what's going on with them. Some kids have had friends and uncles and brothers murdered, and like some kids have seen the worst of it. And these are the things. Some kids are being bullied. There's one kid in particular recently that I've worked with at the school, and she's a kid that had like she was born with some disease that pulls her eyes further apart. It was she has difficulty walking. Her limbs are like recently she just had a surgery to repair her hip, and she would be teased because she didn't look like normal people at the school. And so I said, "Hey, let's write a song." And we wrote a song, and it was actually released recently. And the music video is being edited right now to that song. But I told her bullies at camp on campus one day. I said, "Hey, the way that you guys treat this kid, you won't be doing that in a couple weeks, I promise you." And they go, "Why?" And I said, "She's getting ready to write a song, and she's getting ready to release her first album." And they're like, "No way!" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Do you know what it's like walking on campus every day and everyone teasing you and everyone looking at you?" And I said, "I went through that." And I said, "It's not a really cool thing to, when you feel left out and when you feel like you don't belong someplace and you're holding all this pain in." So me and this kid wrote a song, and she talked about the pain in the song about being bullied. And we wrote a beautiful song, man. Like I'm telling you, like, and I this is why I do the work that I do. It makes me emotional talking about it because I was that
Hmm.
kid. I
Yeah,
was that kid, and
you
for
let it
people
out, John. It's cool,
looking
man.
in,
Safe spot.
for people looking in that don't understand, like, I'm helping your kids heal.
Yeah.
I'm helping your kids heal. And the most beautiful part about it is, and that kid came to me and said, "Thank you."
Hmm.
Her mom and her dad witnessed her out in the field shooting a music video and doing things that she never thought that she could ever do. Um, these are like gifts. I told her parents, I said, just watch her, just look and watch her sprout.
Yeah.
Watch these wings open. And it happened. Um, the administration to the school sent me an email one day, and they said, "What you just did with that child, wow." I said, "It
Hmm.
wasn't me. It wasn't me."
Yeah.
I said, I have the lived experience to help these kids. I have the lived experience. I've been where most of these at-risk youth in these schools are headed
Hmm.
if they don't have the right guidance. I didn't have that guidance. So I've tapped into a whole new space that I didn't even know existed within myself to give back to these kids and help them not make the same poor decisions that I've made because they don't want to go where I've been. And I get emotional talking about it. And I just I just know one thing, and that is that if people want to give back to these kids, the way you give back is to listen. Listen to them. They have something to tell
Can
you.
you repeat that, John? Because this is a big, I agree with you 100%, and I don't want to miss it. And I think people need
Yeah.
to hear
If
twice.
you want to give back to these kids, the biggest thing to do is just listen to them. Don't interrupt them. Let them talk. Um, you don't even have to ask a question. Just be,
Hmm.
just be there and listen to them because they're trying to tell you something. And that's what I do. I just listen. I let them vent. And man, there's some scarred kids walking around this world right now. I've worked with over 250 kids that have graduated. About 55 or something graduated my music program. But in the schools, I'm working with so many more. And I hear so many stories. I feel so much pain. But at the end of the day, when I go home, what I do is say, I ask myself, who did you help? And it,
That's the beauty of it. It's you're doing it with you. You and I are doing it right now.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
passing it on. You're
yeah,
giving what you took as your learned experience, your earned wisdom, the painful, hard price of expensive earned wisdom with sacrifice of incarceration, amongst a bunch of other things, and you're passing it on. And you're not trying to shove it down any kid's throat. You're making yourself available as, hey, when they want help, I'm here. We're here, and that's a beautiful thing, you know. I mean, that's what life's all about. You've
yeah.
got a purpose. You have a serious purpose, and you're living it out right now.
I didn't expect to come on here and get all emotional, but man, it comes out at times. And, I don't know where these podcasts lead, whatever happens on them, but all I know is that when you show up, you just lean into whatever got you here, and that's what got me here. A lot of pain got me here, and a
Yeah.
lot of suffering got me here. And what I do today is I don't want to suffer. I don't want to deal with pain, and I talk about that pain to help others. And that's what it does, man. Yeah.
And you're given a platform not only for you to listen, but for other people to listen. So let's segue into some of the outreach and even a straight up ask for anybody who happens to hear this podcast. It'll be out there on YouTube for anybody anywhere across the globe. I I want to know, what are the kids getting just feedback from you with this Ren TV 3 times a week, and then some of the other stuff that are tangible, opportunities for kids to either reach out to you or what's already being done, and then we'll go into how people can, what you need specifically for people who are ready, willing, and able to want to help and partner with you in some capacity, financially or otherwise.
Mhm. So I am on television, and it's Marin TV, where I have a podcast. I have a co-host whose name is Maybe, and that's MAB or MAYBEE. So it's Maybe and Freedom. Freedom is my artist name. And that's the name that I gave myself when I started doing this journey. When I had got into recovery, worked the steps with my sponsor, I found complete freedom in what I could do in this world and who I am. And I named myself Freedom. That's my artist name.
I love it.
Excuse me. But yeah, I bring people on to my podcast. We're all over YouTube. If you Google Maybe in Freedom, everything will pop up. We've been doing this for quite some time, and we uh just open up a dialogue exactly like you're doing right now, Sean. It's beautiful. And anyone that's in the podcast world, when you bring people onto your podcast and you bring people like myself, or you host a show, Sean, you're tapped into a bigger thing, bigger than yourself.
Yep.
What you've done is tapped into something bigger than you. And whether you know it or not, this is a platform where people can be themselves, and they let the world in and let the world in on what they're doing in the world. We need
Mhm.
more leaders like this.
Yeah.
We don't need people holding things in. And like I said, when I became a CEO of a nonprofit, I said, I'm going to help other people build nonprofits.
Okay.
Teach them exactly how I did it. And if they if and that's what I've done. I'll help people start over 10 businesses already. And these, it's been beautiful. I sit on 5 different board of directors. I'm the director of a law firm in Marin County, New Beginnings Law Center. And I help with the background clearing of inmates coming home from prison. I help them get their records cleared up so that they can go out into the world, get a job, and help their families. You know, and the president of Hope Housing of Marin. I sit on Multicultural Center of Marin's board of directors as well. So I'm doing things for my community.
Yep.
Um, Not only just like am I holding in all this stuff for myself, but I am an active member in the community, helping these businesses grow, helping these businesses get donations, helping them find private donors, helping them, grow. And
Yep.
when I do all that for other businesses and not my own, that says something,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and this is why I'm asking the question too, because in my work as an ad rep for the Marin Independent Journal, as well as an author, a speaker, a coach, and in this podcast, it's all intertwined, and we are all connected, whether you think we are or not. For anybody who's listening, not you, you already know it. Um, And some of those names that you rattle off, they're clients of ours, maybe not mine directly, but there's this opportunity to create some synergies and connections where everybody isn't just looking at their own silos. So
Mhm.
what this is an opportunity for you to do your own PSA without sounding salesy or however the hell you want to say it. But let's be clear, I'm in sales, and one of the things that I have to do is get down to brass tacks and find out exactly what it is that people really want, and not only what they want, but why they want it. What is
Yeah.
it going to mean to them? What's the impact? So is there a specific need that you've identified in doing this work for the last several years that you need for stop for the stop project, or something else that you've discovered is a need for one anybody else that you're working? Because we're going to put a call out here so they can contact you and you can be the bridge to help bridge that gap for them, so to speak.
Okay. So I'll give a pitch for our 8 week music program outside of the school studio. We host a free program for youth. It's all free. And
Hmm.
it's an 8 week music program. The kids come in, they learn about how to write a song about their lived experience, what they've been through in life. They learn how to record a music video to that song. They also at the end of 8 weeks, we host a free community concert.
Oh my
And
God.
parents and friends can see what work they've done in the program. It's beautiful, man. We've had the kids make a compilation album with their music on it. So we've had 6 successful programs, 6 albums, and some of those are on YouTube. Some of the music videos are on YouTube under Surviving the Odds Project. And also, if I put this out for a PSA for people that want to get involved. We need help. Times we need we're looking for private donors and stuff like that. We are funded by a lot of foundations, but also this money goes into helping these kids with these albums in the studios, getting their stuff pressed up, recorded, mixed and mastered, their music videos shot and edited and stuff like that. It's a lot of work that goes into a free program for these kids. And we have to pay people that are doing the work for them behind the scenes.
Hmm.
So it's beautiful, man. CBS News would not have found me and done a national story on me and the program if this didn't work because they don't do mediocre stories. And
Right.
they found me. They said, "Hey, how come no one has found you yet? Who are you?" And I just said, I just don't want to be out there like that. I don't want to be out there like that. I don't care about the news. I don't care about anything. What I care about is saving a life. If I can prevent one kid from harming themselves or killing themselves or harming someone else, then that's what I'm doing. And that's what this work does. So if you're out there, you're listening and you want to get involved, um, you know, uh, pay it forward. That's all I say. Pay it forward.
How do they reach you, John?
You can reach me. You can go onto the website Surviving the Odds Project and at stopproject.org with 1P. So it's STO project.org. And there's a donate button on there. You can look through some of the work we've done already on the website. You can see some of these kids who've graduated the program. And I wish I would have walked into my garage because I have boxes of albums for these kids so that I could actually put one up in the screen. But what I will do is I will walk down my hallway so I can show you. Give me one
Oh,
second.
that'd be cool because this is gonna be on. Take the time to do that because this is gonna go out on YouTube as well as a podcast, so the video will be there.
So let's see. My wall of change.
Your wall of change. I like that.
So this is my wall of change, all right, in my home. Up here, there's me and Jerry Rice, where he
Oh my goodness.
put his Super Bowl ring on my finger at a
Oh
meeting.
wow.
These are front page articles of the work.
Yeah.
These are 3 of the 6 albums of the kids when they come through our program. As you see, these are kids that are in the community, all different backgrounds, all different walks of life. All right. These are
My goodness.
right. Um, More front page articles.
Yeah, and for the folks that are just listening and not watching the video, there's headlines on the local Marin newspaper, Marin Independent Journal, several news stories and articles, music projects. I mean, this is a real deal, and working in the news industry for as long as I have, they don't pick stuff up
This is
that fails in
my
September.
very first album that I dedicated to my
Check
wife.
that out.
It's
All my life.
my very first album I dedicated to my wife. More San Quentin news and San Quentin did a story on me. This is an inmate here, just oh man, what is his name again? I think that is David Jassy. Yeah. And David Jassy had a story to tell, you know. These are more plaques and stuff. And these are my very first 6 albums that I released right here, you know. So that's my wall of change. This is where I walk down every day when I leave out of my bedroom. And I'm like walking down my hallway and I'm like, thank you, God, for giving me the peace in my life and the story to tell for so many people. And it just keeps me out of my ego, man. It just lets me know like you did this, and you kept showing up and putting out the work, and people see you today. People want to do a story on you today. People want to invite you to their podcast, you know, and you have a story to tell to the world, you know, going from an inmate to healing to giving back. And that's what this is all about. You know, how did you start giving back with all this pain and stuff? And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of deep soul work. And that's what I love to do today, man. I just want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to come and talk to you today, because I mean, I've read some of your book, and I love it. This is some powerful work that we do, man. And
It really is.
yeah.
You know, and it's just it's one of those things. We will get you back on. I would like to have if the artist is inclined when that album drops, given it
Mhm.
a couple months to hit soft launch, etc. If is it he or she, if they want to do this and come on, let's get them on the show so that they can talk about it in their firsthand experience. Because you know why, John? That's us, you and I, paying it forward for the
Yeah,
kids that get bullied and teased,
yeah, 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 yeah.
all that stuff, man.
I have,
Put
yeah,
it in their words, not
yeah,
ours.
yeah. And I have an opportunity for you to put some kids on your show who've graduated my program. I have that actual young lady, Ari, who just had her one of her surgeries to repair her hip so she could walk properly. The one that I told you was being bullied that released the
Mhm.
album with me. Um, she just got home from the hospital just last week. This is her 17th surgery
My goodness.
since she was born. All right. She's had brain surgeries, she's had all type of stuff. And this kid reaches out to me all the time and say thank you. Her parents are in contact with me 24/7. And I'm just like, you know, I'm like, just thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so I can get an opportunity for her to come onto your show to tell you about her firsthand experience of working with me as an artist, and the things that she's been able to accomplish since then, and the amount of support that she got once her album was released. And I'll just, man, I gotta save it for you because
Oh
we're
yeah.
on your show for sure.
And that's the beauty of this. You know, the book, when I wrote that, I had agonized the heck out of whether or not I wanted to tell my own sordid, raw, real, and as bold as I could possibly be recovery journey. And I talked to my sponsor and I agonized over breaking my own anonymity. And I said, I'm not breaking anybody else's. And he says, you know what? You have a message to tell.
Mhm.
It's your choice. You go do it. And you know, like you're talking about, this opportunity that we have when we get out of ourselves, not for fame, not for fortune necessarily, if that comes along, hallelujah, but the
Yep,
wall of change that you just shared with me, our lives are in change, and we get to
yep,
be living, breathing examples of what it means to come out the other side. And honestly, John, when we had that chance encounter a few months ago, um, I knew. I mean, you just know, you know.
yeah.
I knew that I needed to connect with you. And it's been a few months because I had life get in the way, but here we are having this conversation. I hope that anybody out there listening hears the message of what John's saying, because we are never, ever, 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 ever alone. And that's the biggest problem for most of us, is if we don't feel like we have anybody there that is willing to listen to us. Our problems are not unique to us, folks. There's somebody else who's been going through exactly what it is that you're going through. And John and I and millions of other people around the world can attest to the fact that you are never alone. And there's always somebody else either on the end of the phone, as a good friend of mine says, or somebody there to sit down in the studio and record music and get those thoughts and that angst and that anger and out and record it. Say, hey, check this out. So, you get last words. and then I'll wrap it up at the end with just deal.
There's been a lot of people that have inspired me recently. A lot of people said, you need your book out. And so I started writing my book. I'm almost done. It's
Oh, what's the title?
called How I Survived the Odds.
Oh, yes.
And the name of my nonprofit is called Surviving the Odds Project. So this is how
Hmm.
I survived the odds. I tell the whole story. It goes into being a kid and witnessing everything and growing up in underprivileged communities and how I was able to survive all that and be the person that I am today. And it's a beautiful story. It has lots and lots of dialogue between me and other people that have come into my
Hmm.
life. Funny stories, by the way. I keep you engaged and I make people cry. I take them on a roller coaster in this book, and it's a beautiful thing. Someone said, you need to write this book, and I just sat and been writing for days and days and days, and even if I get a thought, I take the notes down and just, yeah. So
And
that book will be out soon, and it's beautiful. So stay tuned for it.
absolutely, I can't wait, and definitely keep me in the loop, and we'll get you back on for that too to do some promotion. But I want to read it for sure. And John, thank you
I
for
got
your.
a copy for you. I got a
Oh,
copy for you, man. I appreciate you for giving me your book that night.
you
And
got it.
yeah, it was beautiful. That was an awesome moment. I had no idea who you were and like what you've been through in life, and I see this now.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for this time. And folks, this has been Dare to Be Great, Dare to Be You, living, breathing in action. And now you understand a little bit more about why I created this podcast, because there's people all over the world that need to hear what you have to say and that what our guests have to say. And if you want to be a guest, reach out to me, seanlangwell.com. Again, how do people find out to participate with the Stop Project?
Like I said, once again, go to the website under stopproject.org, and that's 1PSTO project.org. Just get involved. Click the donate button if you want, if you feel it in your heart to give back to these kids. Also, stay tuned because we have a lot of stuff coming up. We've partnered with a lot of different organizations. We're getting these music studios everywhere for these kids to start healing and telling their stories. Even if you're not musically inclined, there's a platform for you to tell a story if you want. It doesn't always have to be about music. It can be
Hmm.
word. It can be whatever you feel that you need to get out. If you want to learn how to make a beat, whatever it is, we do it all. So if you want to get involved, we do have people helping us in the schools. We have people helping us at events outside of here. T-Mobile Foundation just sent over a grant, and we were able to host another community concert with those funds, and it was an amazing turnout. Let me just tell you, I just can't say enough about the support that we get from outside people, private donors and stuff like that. It's amazing, and these kids benefit from it. The biggest part, and I'll leave with this, is that when you see a kid heal, you see a kid grow.
When you see a kid heal, you see a kid grow. 100%. And we don't need to add anything to that, John. This has been a pleasure and a delight. God
Mhm.
bless you, and thanks for spending some time with us today. Appreciate it,
Thank you so
brother.
much, brother. I love you, man.
Love you.
Appreciate you.